Can I ask, if I may, a highlight since you started on this journey, and particularly because speaking is your profession now, professionally speaking, have you a particular highlight, one particular moment on stage or in front of a group that stands out for you?
Just in terms of speaking, is it?
It doesn't have to be speaking, I'm just, have you anything in particular?
Like, I suppose different highlights for me would be, throughout my life, would be when I did a TEDx talk. That would be one about the topic of bullying, and how I believe you should be stand up to bullying and not be a bystander.
Okay.
That'd be one moment. Obviously, another moment would be when I got the opportunity to talk to 7,500 people.
Fantastic.
And for them all to hear my story. Another opportunity was going to Antarctica, doing the World Marathon Challenge, 7 marathons, 7 continents, within 7 days, 6 days, 9 hours, running in the Atacama Desert, the driest desert in the world. And I suppose just actually qualifying as a solicitor, because that was a very happy day and a sad day for me. Because a happy day because I was always told I wouldn't get there. A sad day because I suppose on that day, like, I suppose everybody could see me on the news and qualifying, but like, I suppose some people who were in my life who are visually impaired, they couldn't see me.
Wow.
And I didn't really care about being on the news. I just wanted them to be able to see me. But
My goodness.
yeah, so there has been a lot of standout moments for me. Another moment was in second year in UCC, when I was finding it extremely tough. My parents brought me to London for a shopping trip. I thought I was going on a shopping trip. I didn't end up going on a shopping trip. I went to meet a judge who was totally blind.
Oh, wow.
And I suppose that he was a role model to me, and I think we all need role models in our life. And I think any of us, whether we realise it or not, every time you encounter somebody, you can be a role model to them, through your actions, through your words. Like, even when I came back from the World Marathon Challenge, there was the Allianz Ireland had a TV advert about me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was being recognised a lot. Mm-hmm. And one particular night, it was very cold, dark, raining. Mm-hmm. I was tired, I was hungry. Mm-hmm. And it was 9:30 at night, pitch black, and I was coming back from a supermarket, and these 2 little girls, I don't know, they might have been about 7 or 9, said to their mother, said, Mammy, there's a girl from the Allianz ad. Wow. So these 2 girls wanted to come over and have a full-blown conversation with me, and like, it was 9:30 at night now, and I was cold, tired,
right,
and I was not informed for talking to people about goal setting or mindset or being a role model. But I suppose at the back of my mind, I had to say to myself, right, well, did that judge say that to you when he became your role model in second year UCC?
Yeah.
So, like, I suppose I stood there and I did the gracious thing and I talked to them, even though I wasn't on form. And I think that when you've been afforded kind of opportunity to be inspired, then you should try and inspire.
I think that's a wonderful story, because I think, we were talking about this just before we started the programme, and we were talking about some of the stuff that we've all got to face, and I just think it's great. I think that you identified that you were in that moment, that you really didn't want this to happen, but it has done, and you're back to your being grateful, rather than being put out. You decided to be grateful for the opportunity. Somebody had done it for you, so you did it for them, so well done. May I ask you a question, if I may, because we've all had them. Your most embarrassing moment, if you'd like to share that with us.
I think one of my most embarrassing moments was, I've had many in terms of academic and in terms of running. I suppose in terms of running, one of my most embarrassing moments was when I did my first marathon in October 2014, and my run coach, John, who I met in October 2014, I met him for the first time then, and basically I had a sore knee at the time, and somebody recommended me to go to him, that he might have known somebody who could have fixed my knee, that he'd recommend me on then to the right person. And as well as that, John has done a lot of work with Mark Pollock and has guided Mark Pollock. Wow. And a lot of people would know the story of Mark Pollock.
Of course, yeah.
So I'm visually impaired, Mark's visually impaired. So I suppose I was going to John as well to ask him for advice about my first marathon with a guide runner. So I just met John anyway, and at the end of the meeting, he said to me, have you any more questions?
Okay.
And then about running, about guide running or anything, and I kind of said, well, do you know now, if it's raining on the day of the marathon, the Dublin Marathon, will they cancel the marathon?
Okay.
So he kind of looked at me as if to say, like, is this girl being serious? And like, I was being serious, but then I knew that he thought that was a stupid question. So I had to pretend that I was only joking, but I actually still wanted the answer to the question. So he then kind of firmly told me, when he realised that I was serious, he said, Sinead, 3 things in relation to the Dublin Marathon. First thing is, this event happens every single year, and the minute one finishes, they start organising it again. So it's not an event that just happens. It's a year-long preparation.
Fantastic.
Second thing then is, over 15,000 people compete in this event. And third thing is, you're living in a country where it all the time rains. So I then just kind of said, oh right, okay, and so that'll just show you how clueless I was to running. And then like literally 4 weeks later, when I started training for my first ultra marathon, my first 50k, strangely I was out in the track for 4 hours running around in the rain.
Wow,
and this is a girl who was frightened to do a marathon in the rain. So I suppose it just shows that even though that situation was embarrassing, you learn things about different experiences by going through the experience. Another experience I had was when I was going to the Atacama Desert. Fear stops us from doing our goals, and like I went to the Atacama Desert in November 2015. Richard Donovan, Polar Running Ventures, he organises these races. He also does the World Marathon Challenge, and I actually kind of got so fearful that I actually wasn't going to go. So I tried to say to myself, right, look, calm down, you'll be fine, like just maybe do something relaxing, because I was flying out the following day. So that, the day before, I went to the swimming pool. Swimming around the swimming pool anyway, and this guy started talking to me. And because of my bad sight, like I kind of more see colours and shapes, and like bright natural light is very difficult for me. I prefer like artificial type of light.
That's interesting. Okay.
I can describe my eye conditions in a minute, but anyway, so I was in this swimming pool and this guy comes over, starts swimming beside me, and he sounded very much like Bertie Ahern. So I was kind of saying to myself, would this be a compliment or an insult to tell him that he sounded like Bertie Ahern? Right? So I was saying in my head, right, will I tell him this or not? And then I said, okay, I'll just say it. And then I said, like, I hope you don't mind me saying, but you sound very much like Bertie Ahern. And then he said, that's because I am Bertie Ahern. So then I was just like, well, what do I say now? Like, what do you talk about now?
That's fantastic.
So we were just swimming there, and then I just said, oh, by the way, I'm going to the Atacama Desert tomorrow. This is why I'm in the swimming pool. And I can't even fully remember what I started saying, but like just to get over that awkward silence, I just started talking a lot.
That's a great story. That's a great story.
It just shows the power of networking, that you can meet anybody, anywhere.
Absolutely, yeah. So long as you're out there.
Yeah.
You've got to be out there. Before we sort of, there's 2 last questions I'd like to ask you, but you did mention you'd like to tell us a little about your visual impairment. Tune in next week, folks, to find out what Sinead's specific eyesight challenges are, her man on the train moment, and what is next for this truly inspirational and remarkable young woman. Talk to you soon.